welcome once again to the live, the Talk of Life talk show with Elma. And we have Linda right over here.
Hi.
And then I will introduce our special guest. I love to make y'all wonder who is this beautiful woman
Amen.
that's sitting next to me.
Amen.
Inquiry minds always want to know. All right. So,
You forgot
let's see.
Kimberly.
I don't know. I lost Kimberly somewhere. I don't know. Is she still on the jet? Oh, here she comes.
Hey,
There's Kimberly. I think she stopped off in New York because she looks so beautiful.
Yes, she does.
Hi, Kimberly.
How are you? I do. How are you? Thank you.
That's so
Like
sweet.
money, big money in the house.
This girl is so funny. You can tell they know each other, right? Y'all can tell that, right? She know each other. Okay.
I said, who that bougie
She
black
didn't
lady?
remember me.
I didn't. Your hair looks amazing.
Thank you.
It is
I
She
beautiful.
told
takes
her
off.
it's
She was ready to bring a bet like Beyonce and tear us up.
Oh, really?
That's Mr. Bernie. When we Mr. Bernie, I work. You look amazing.
But I fought that battle too, didn't
Yes,
I,
you did.
Kimberly?
You
And I
won.
won.
You
And I
won.
won. I
You
believe
won the
in
battle.
winning. I
She won the
believe in
battle.
winning.
Amen.
I can tell you
Oh my
believe
gosh,
in
you look
winning.
Amazing.
Well, thank
Not that you
you.
didn't look good then,
Yeah.
but
I was very, very relaxed
is,
and kind of just
VIP.
kind of slumming and
I'm like, who this bougie lady up in
Oh,
here
my
tonight? I don't know
goodness.
her.
I thought you
Oh,
knew her when you walked
Oh,
in.
my God. I said, I don't even know who she
Oh,
is.
she didn't see you.
she did. But
She did. She didn't
And
say
I said
nothing.
hi. I just said hi, everybody. You know, that's just
And
I
she
know.
was, yeah.
And she was being all VIP corporate.
No, I was looking on my phone. You were loaded down with things, and I said, "Okay, she's moving through."
I did not know
But I,
who you
but
were.
I knew we
trust
would
me.
show each other some love, so I wasn't
I
worried
was
about
like,
that.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's
tell everybody
beautiful.
who I saw.
Oh my goodness.
I'm so glad they recognize each other, okay? All right. Before we get started, we always have to have
Spiritual. I mean,
our
spiritual
scripture
walk.
walk
I said
or
spiritual
scripture
walk.
dance. It's whatever Otis play for her to get her in that mood, okay? Drop that beat, Otis. You have to
Give me
look
no
at Kimberly
sound.
first. All right.
For real.
All right, finish what you start. Philippians 1:6 says, always finish what you start. No matter what you're going through, finish what you start. Stop being a procrastinator. We only have 2 more months almost for
Yeah.
2026. This young guy says, don't you ever give up on whatever. Life, jobs, whatever, family, friends, whatever. Don't you ever give up on yourself most of all. And then this one says, but God.
But
If
God.
it wasn't for God, we wouldn't be here today. So we're excited to be here. And Kimberly always does a good job with this and stuff. So all of these plaques are designed especially for whoever. And you can find them on www.kirkinspirations.com. All right. So today we're going to.
I like that song as it warmed up. At first, I thought
Yeah,
it was
it had
like
a
one
nice
of
beat.
them wild
It had a
jungle
really
songs.
nice beat.
It did have a nice
Yeah.
beat. It
was
did.
really nice as it warmed up.
Oh, after it warmed up. Otis, did you hear that? Oh, she said after it warmed up, it was a good beat. Otis said, my God, she always got to pick on me. But anyway, Kimberly, would you like to introduce our guest since y'all know each other from somewhere?
From somewhere. I just know she's absolutely fabulous. I love her voice. We enjoyed hearing her talk.
Uh-huh.
You know, she's already a motivational speaker. She's
Okay.
already.
She looks like one.
Yes.
I mean, she just filled us. She just filled us with so much when she was talking to us and just visiting with us at work and everything. And I was like, you just gotta be on the show. You just gotta. She was trying to act like she won't showing us our job on the down low. She we didn't know what we were doing. But Miss Allen, I am so glad that you came.
Thank you.
And I mean, you were beautiful when I saw you, but you're just
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
just that
She looks
black
like
woman.
this elegant
Elegant.
warrior,
Yeah.
get ready to take
Yes.
on a case.
You know, I
Yes.
was in a very relaxed place when I would be visiting with Kimberly. But then I got that second wind
Mm.
because
Uh-oh.
this is something I'm so passionate about.
She
Right.
is.
And so
Ooh.
it just gave me a whole new light.
Right.
All right.
And so I was very excited
Mhm.
and a little anxious
Oh, wow.
about this evening, but it's home for me. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I kind of went into my whole place. With
All
Mhm.
right.
And I love it. And I love you. And I'm so glad you came.
All right. So Kimberly met. Where did you meet her at?
Workforce.
At the workforce.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna share a little bit about this beautiful, elegant woman right here.
Yes.
Her name is Veronica P. Allen.
Yes.
She has all these initials behind, which she'll
Yes.
probably tell us later on what they stand for. MS, comma, NCPM, comma, CSL. Miss Allen is president and founder of VP Allen and Associate. VPAA is a Texas-based HR and EEO consultant firm specializing in anti-discrimination, which this is going to be really good.
Yes.
In the workplace. She is a subject matter expert in Title, what is that, 7, federal and anti-discrimination laws and EEO compliance. And you know, we get a lot of these sometimes working for the state.
Mm-hmm.
She is also passionate, engaging, and a dynamic speaker.
Yes.
She has presented over 900 public seminars. Ooh, you've been busy. And trained more than 25,000 public and private sector employers during her career as an HR law educator. She has spent more than 2 decades traveling. Girl, you've been doing it.
Wow.
Whew. Let me touch you. The continental United States, educating diverse clients and businesses on how to unify their workforce by putting people first. I like that. And fostering a workplace culture that champion excellence, ethical leadership, leading with a moral compass, untangling the web of FMLA, ADA, and workers' compensation, a supervisor roadmap to EEO compliance, just the facts, how to conduct an effective workplace investigation. You have really been busy.
Yeah.
And the last one is documentation is key. How to CYA, which stands for cover your action. Okay, cover your
Well,
action.
I had to clean that up.
I know that's right, because I almost said cover your something else. All right. But you see, these are some of her favorite topics that she really loved to talk about. And a lot of time we go through a lot of this. And by me working for the state of Texas, I have been where a lot of people, before they changed me to workshop, where they actually had to file EEO complaints, you know, and what was their rights. That wasn't my department, but I was able to give them the paperwork to go fill it out, and then they would, you know, go through the process. So
Right.
Let's
the public
get
sector
into
and the
it
private
then.
sector have 2 different schools of
Yes.
thought and
Yes.
practice. So it's a little different in procedure. We're under
you're
federal sector
Yes.
employer versus a private employer.
So, Miss Allen, what inspired you to become an employee rights advocate? Because you look like one. Girl.
Yes.
You look like you can take
Well,
on the world.
You know, ladies, I grew up as the only girl
Okay.
and the baby, and I have 4 brothers.
Wow.
So I was always a scrapper. I was
Right.
always a scrapper, and I was always for what was right,
Mhm.
because I felt like I was always being wrong by my brothers.
Right.
So I kind of grew up, you know,
Uh-huh.
making my way and finding my place. And I was always that person on the schoolyard that was defending everyone. You know, I was that person. And I would have to say, bringing a little bit closer to home, you know, my journey started with personal experiences
Okay.
that I went through and witnessed
Mhm.
firsthand of how
Mhm.
individuals were treated and how employees' protections were not there.
That's true.
Right.
They
That's
weren't they weren't real.
Mhm.
And it inspired me to take on the torch
Mhm.
to advocate for employees' rights. And so I dedicated my career, and I
That's
committed
good.
myself to helping workplaces become fair, inclusive, and legally compliant. But I also felt like I needed to be, at times, the voice for the voiceless. So I had no problem
Mhm.
walking in the room with one who had been mistreated or saying, we're going to do this.
Uh-huh.
I've also worked very closely with employers who were well-intended and had no intention of being biased or prejudicial or impartial in their treatment. They just weren't aware.
Okay.
And so that gave me an opportunity to build partnerships
Mhm.
and build alliances with employers
Mm-hmm.
and educate their staff on not only the employees' rights and to preserve and respect their rights, but to also recognize that you as an employer had rights too,
That's right.
and you had responsibilities. And so it was always about dealing with the stuff and trying to mitigate or eliminate as much grief
Mhm.
that this can bring you, like litigation
Mhm.
and hefty lawsuits, which
Yeah.
has been proven with many employers to have to step up and cut that check.
Right.
So,
yeah, that part. Cut that
You
check.
know, I always encourage them to stay out of legal quagmire, but at the same time empower employees to be informed, to be educated, and know your rights.
Mhm. So right here where you said, what do we mean when we talk about civil rights in the workplace?
Well, you know, there's Title VII, the Civil Rights of 1964,
64,
okay,
right.
which is the mortar, the brick and mortar
Mm-hmm.
of prohibiting discrimination in the workplace. So when we speak of civil rights in the workplace, what we're talking about is identifying with protecting employees from discrimination based on a protected class, which could be national origin, it could be age, it could be race, it could
That's
be
true.
color,
That's
it
true.
could be religion,
That's right.
disability, pregnancy,
Mhm.
sexual
Mhm.
sexual orientation,
Yeah.
gender identity, gender
Mhm.
expression, which has
That's a
recently
lot.
been watered down, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Really.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's a whole nother whole nother topic.
Mhm.
But there is still a safe place for groups that are now being pretty much pushed out of the realm of protection
Mhm.
in the workplace to go. And that's why I'm here too,
Mhm.
because I want to hear from those people
Mhm.
as
Mhm.
well,
Mhm.
because there's a way to take a stand.
Mhm.
And so those protections should be in place and they should be enforced under Title VII, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 in the workplaces. And it should also ensure equal opportunities in hiring, pay, promotions,
Mhm.
and just overall fair and just treatment.
Okay, the
Yeah.
1964 Civil Rights Act,
Mhm.
does that entail every person, every color?
Yes.
Or was it mainly for the blacks at that time?
Well, you know, at that time, there was no fairness. There was
Right.
no
That's right.
opportunity
Right.
due to race, not
Right.
only in the workplace, but when it came to housing,
Yes.
Mhm.
education. We had so
Education.
many battles
That's
then.
right.
You know, that's a well told story
Right.
and well lived one.
Right.
Mhm.
And so there was no fairness or equity in the workplace
Mhm.
either.
Mhm.
And so we fought
Mhm.
primarily as a people
Mhm.
to get that just in the workplace. Okay, we had a right to apply for jobs
Right.
and be hired based on our experience, our skills, our qualifications.
That's right.
Um, there was nothing done by design. We had to fight for that, but it also
Mhm.
opened up the doors for other groups
Mhm.
You're right.
to
That's
be
true.
protected.
Mhm.
Okay, women.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's right, women.
as well. And so when Title VII, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 went into effect, the goal was to put forth the
Mhm.
enforcement
Mhm.
of civil rights
Mhm.
protection.
Mhm.
And so it was the backbone or the premise for employment, to prohibit employment discrimination.
Right.
And then of course
And housing.
other housing followed and,
Mhm.
and other things. And there were amendments that came with the
Yeah.
Civil Rights Act. The Pregnancy Discrimination Act of
Right.
1978 is a protected class. And
Right.
then we had American with Disabilities Act of
Mhm.
1990.
Mhm.
And we've always had the Age Discrimination Employment Act
Mhm.
of 1967, which is
Right.
where you're protected if you're 40 or over.
That's
Mhm.
right.
And so when people would often say it's not fair, younger people
Mhm.
say it's not fair, how can they discriminate against me and give the older person an opportunity? I said, well, keep living. When you get
You
40,
get- there
you'll
you
have
go.
a law.
There you go.
But now if you live in a state that protects
Mhm.
under 40, like Iowa, for
Mhm.
example, then you might have a leg to stand on. So,
Wow.
and laws are continuing to grow
Okay,
and protect.
let me ask another question. I heard, I don't know how true it is, that they trying to get rid of the Act 1964 Act. Have you heard that?
With the what is it called? DEA? What is that? Diversity.
Well, diversity, equity, and inclusion
Yeah.
is pretty much a thing of the past. It's been gutted.
Mhm.
For the most part, the programs are pretty much non-existent.
Right.
But a program may be non-existent. But the
Mhm.
reality is, when you walk through any door of a company, there will be diversity,
Right.
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 no matter how you look at it. So
That's
you can
true.
take the
That's
shingle
true.
down,
Mhm.
but if you look around your company, you see a box of chocolates.
Right.
So however they want to broad brush that, I get it. That's where we are right now. So DEI is no longer a practice in the workplaces. And what is beginning to happen is Title VII Civil Rights Act of 1964 was intentional. It had an intent. It had a scope. Well, there's a shift in how Title VII now is being viewed.
Mhm.
And so there are changes being made to include other protections that were not a part of the foundation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We have anti-national origin discrimination that they've been talking about out of EEOC. Safe spaces for women. They're starting to add to the they're starting to add to the law,
Mhm.
but it's not a recognized law. It's going to be their practice.
Oh, okay.
And I'm moving rather gently with this
Mhm.
because I do realize that it's a subject that most people have not gone out and read about.
Right.
But I have been following the current chair and her directives and the way the agency is moving, and there are some added protections that were not a part of the foundational Title VII Civil Rights Act of 1964. But we're living in a climate where there are so many different narratives, and some narratives speak louder than others.
Yeah.
So it's taking shape and form in many ways.
Mhm.
And that's even jumping on the coattail of what was intended for good
Mhm.
and for just and for right is now being shaped and formed rather differently.
Right. But does that act come back up for them to vote on, or do they do amendments to the 1964 Act?
You know, to get to Title VII, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, it was there was a lot of hurt,
Right.
a lot of pain, a lot of fight, and a lot of struggle.
Mhm.
And I do not foresee the Civil Rights Act being interpreted,
Mhm.
applied, and enforced in the way it was intended yesteryear.
Right.
I just don't see it.
So would that
And
fall
so-
under where you have on here have civil right protection improved over the last 20 years? Would that fall in? Has it improved any or
I would not. I would say yes.
you think
There has been some improvements. There's been improvements as it relates to disability
Mhm.
Okay.
protections, pregnancy protections, religious protections, the LGBTQ plus community in terms of protection. So there's been some progression. However, the cultures of workplaces must still become more aware. More aware. And I don't believe the awareness level is where it should be. and understanding the importance of civil rights laws and its protections. And I believe that we still have much distance to go. Yes.
So let me ask you this here. You know, there was a time when they had to have a quota.
Mhm.
You know, so many blacks, so many this, so many that. Does that still apply
Well,
under the civil rights?
Well,
Or-
when affirmative action was
Affirmative
action.
overturned,
Right.
that was the platform that we were being favored through a quota system, and
Mhm.
that was not the case. And I'm
Mhm.
not going to re-argue
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
position. We know
Right.
that position.
Right.
Mhm.
There should be no quotas.
Right, you're right.
But when you fight because you are excluded to be included,
Mhm.
it does appear to be that there is some type of quota system
Quota,
going on, but
right.
it's not the
It's
case.
not the case.
It's not the case. So there should be no quotas. And we talk about now merit under the guise of you may not be qualified for that job. And so that's not okay. That's not okay either.
Mhm.
And so there should be no quotas. There, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there was ever an operation in the environment where we relied on quotas.
Mhm.
But we needed balance
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
workplace, in our educational institutions. We needed balance, and we needed to give those who look like me
Mhm.
Mhm.
an opportunity to a fair and quality education,
Mhm.
Mhm.
a fair wage paying job.
Mhm.
And to be able to extend that to me based on the understanding that I am very capable
Mhm.
of learning
Mhm.
and being
Mhm.
Right.
excellent,
Right. Right.
not to mention deserving.
Okay. So let's go back to this question. What are the most common civil rights violation employees face today in the workplace?
Well, we have discrimination in promotions,
Okay.
unequal pay,
Mhm.
retaliation
true.
after reporting harassment,
Mm-hmm.
and disability accommodations are some of the most frequent issues. Those are some of the most frequent issues. However, retaliation
Mm-hmm.
in particular is one of the top complaints employees bring to the EEOC. It still rides very high.
But they
Yes.
say that you can file it, but you end up getting that backlash, like the retaliation, like you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because-
do you think that's one reason why people don't want to file?
There's a number of reasons why
They
why
don't.
people don't file.
Mhm.
They feel, some feel that why, nothing's going to
Nothing's gonna be
change.
That's I heard that
Um,
before too.
This is the way it is. The
Mhm.
company's
They're not
always
gonna
been this
do
way. So
nothing,
why
yeah.
should I fight?
Mm-hmm.
I need my job. I have a
Right.
family. I have
Right.
kids to feed.
Right.
I can't afford to lose my job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take forever.
Yeah.
It's not going to get fixed overnight.
Mm-hmm.
If I need an attorney, I can't afford one.
Right.
If I go to EEOC, can I trust EEOC? If I go to HR,
you
can I?
go.
So there are a
Okay.
lot
Lot
of
of-
there's a lot of
yes,
variables
yes,
in that
that's
equation
true.
as to why people
Mm-hmm.
don't. And if I do, I will suffer as a result of it. And that is why retaliation lawsuits are the number one leading claim
That's true.
Mm.
at
Mhm.
EEOC.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh
Mhm.
yes. Oh yes. No doubt about that. No
Yeah,
doubt
that's true.
about that. And there are a
Mhm.
number of cases out there where they've actually went to HR,
Yeah,
believing it was a safe place
that's right.
to tell their story,
Mm-hmm.
and subsequently or
They-
consequently,
Mm-hmm.
they are terminated. They're terminated. They're let go. And I read those
That's true.
cases
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis throughout the week, and I'm
Hmm.
just it just really
But what can be done
cuts
about that?
pretty deep. Well, you do what they've done.
Mhm.
You seek legal counsel.
But what if
And
you
you
can't
fight.
afford an attorney?
Well, there are agencies out there, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times we think in order to fight we need money,
Mm.
but there are law firms out there that work on contingency.
That's true.
And if they hear your case,
Mm-hmm.
you may very well have a case
That's right.
where they will take that case on
Mhm.
and you will not have to bring a retainer
Mm.
to the floor. And when I'm working with clients,
Mm-hmm.
I refer them to such agencies.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can speak to a firm that does operate on contingency, meaning you don't get they don't get paid until you get paid.
That's
So if
true.
they have the case and they believe that this is a legitimate, valid case,
Mhm.
there is serious, egregious
Mhm.
violations here,
Mhm.
then we will take that on
Mm-hmm.
and we will see, how far we go with that. But a lot of people don't don't realize that, and it's sad to go to HR and
That's true.
then 3 days or a week later you're brought in and you're being released due to poor performance.
Performance, yes.
And
And that's sad.
and that concerns me even more so, ladies, because 20 plus years or more I've been in the field of HR.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an HR practitioner. I've been a regional HR manager. I've been on that side of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who knows me, who was employed in an organization that I was employed in,
Mhm.
knew that, one, I was visible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was not for sale.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't waver.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't management leaning. Okay. And I'm not saying I was employment leaning. What I was balanced,
Mm.
fair,
Mm-hmm.
and equitable.
Right.
And if you came to my office, I had the skin,
Mm-hmm.
I had the backbone, and I
Mhm.
had the boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
And so when you came to me, it was a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't co-sign or endorse
Right.
on things with that were
Right.
willfully and intentionally and knowingly on my part violated.
Right.
And so I fought for them. But my question is today,
Mm-hmm.
and some people may not be okay with what I'm getting ready to say, but when I'm reading a case that's been filed through EEOC and I read the graphic treatment
Mm-hmm.
that people had to endure,
Mm.
how did it get that far? And where is HR? Where is HR? That should have never happened.
Mm-hmm.
They should have never been fired because they asserted their rights to file a claim.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So I always have to ask myself, where is HR? Who's minding the house? Because an employee should be able to come in, voice their concerns. Immediate remedial action needs to be taken. They need to be looking into it immediately so they can respond. And then they make decisions that are necessary
Mm-hmm.
to manage that situation. Does Kimberly need to be, can we talk to Kimberly about considering
Mm-hmm.
moving to another department? We're not going to double victimize
Mhm.
Kimberly.
Uh-huh.
But if Kimberly says, I'm comfortable going over to that unit
Mhm.
until this matter's resolved because I don't feel that this is a good situation for me,
Mm-hmm.
we can arrange that. There are many things we can do to still protect the complainant that comes to the
Mhm.
office. Okay. But when I read the cases and I read
Mm.
how horrific the treatment has been sometimes, it disturbs me. And I have to ask myself, where was HR?
Mm-hmm.
It should have never happened.
Wow.
So HR does more than just hire you. They supposed to.
Well, HR is there to provide many services, whether it's
Oh, okay.
benefits, payroll, administering, the onboarding process, hiring, recruitment, of
Mhm.
course.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not be naive. When it comes to these issues that we're speaking on,
Mm-hmm.
HR is there to mitigate risk, of course, but to also protect the organization.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important that employees read, they become educated, become informed about their status as an employee in their companies. Read the handbook, front and back. The moment you're hired, that should be your homework during your first week.
Wow.
Read the handbook.
Wow.
Read the departmental policies that you're working in. Understand the book of the rules, please. So you're not scrambling at the last minute trying to figure out what. Because we've all probably been at the table before where they coached you. And but they're able to tell you, according to policy such and such, provision such and such, they can quote it. You should be able to know that front and back to you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's unfortunate that you assert your rights, but then you end up being escorted to the
Out.
door,
Out
and
the
then
door.
you have to fight those cases, and they're real. And let me be real. I've been on both sides, but I've been victorious.
Praise
Don't
God.
you
Praise
just love her?
God. That's
I just
good.
love her.
That's good.
I'm just letting you know. So I'm not just speaking from sitting on this side of the desk in management. I've been on the other side too. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So so this one says, what are the biggest mistake companies make when it comes to EEOC compliance?
Well, they don't act as quickly and swiftly
As
as
they
they
should.
should when a complaint is brought to their attention. I believe that they need to be swift and remedial in addressing matters and not use issues as a checkbox where they're just kind of checking off the steps that they've taken. That's why it's important that if an employee does not believe that they're getting due process, then they should seek external assistance, meaning go outside, whether it's EEO or your state civil rights division as well. Because too often they'll check the boxes sometimes. And I'm not saying all HR professionals, but I've been at this long enough to know that the C-suite is very popular for HR.
The what?
The C-suite, that's the boardroom. Yeah, and so, but getting down into the trenches is where they need to act more quickly and continue to train and develop and work towards a fair, respectful, and thriving organization for others.
So what is the turnaround once, what should be the turnaround once they file the EEOC papers? Is there a certain turnaround that they should be getting back with the person, or?
Yeah, there is a process. I mean, initially coming out the blocks, if there is an incident that an employee has encountered, they have up to 180 days.
Okay.
That's 6 months, and sometimes longer depending on the charge and the issue of the case, which if it involves age, for example, or so it really depends. But the standard is 180 days. But it could drag out because the EEOC is very, very, very busy. At least they were as of December 2024. And I followed that particular chair very closely at the time, and that was Charlotte Burrows. She's the former EEOC chair, and I'm not sure if she's gotten all her flowers, but she really deserves her flowers because there are still cases now being settled in one that under her watch she had filed, and so.
She filed.
Well, under her watch,
Under
because
her
she
watch.
was the EEOC chair at the time.
Okay.
And so you've got 180 days to file, and then it could possibly drag out.
So can they get a job while they still under this? Can they still work? They can still go and work while that's going on.
And some are still at the job in which they filed the charge against working. Not everyone is retaliated against, but it's so common though for employers to get in their feelings and unfortunately retaliate in some kind of subtle or covert way. But at least you have that 6 months to file a discrimination claim. And then other federal laws will vary. You know, with the Family Medical Leave Act, they have a 3-year statute of limitations. So if you've got a case where you believe your rights have been violated under federally protected leave, so it varies in terms of timelines.
Good
but
Lord.
it is a process.
It is.
Yeah, you could go a whole year and a half before EEOC is able to settle or find any conciliation for you in that case. So you definitely will have to be patient. But yes, you continue to look. It's awkward for some people because they know they have that going on there, and now they're looking for a job, and you know, and hopefully they won't say anything adverse, and so those you're kind of going through that as well.
Okay, so when the federal employees got laid off, did they go to EEOC to complain about it, or they can't do that?
No. The federal government and EEOC, they have their roles are very different.
Very different.
Now, can they eventually end up at EEOC? Yes, but they have the Office of Personnel Management. They have their own grievance process. They have their own conflict. They have their framework is very different. You can eventually end up at EEOC, but you're going to go through a lot of layers before that happens.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
because they have their Merit Protection Board. They're regulated a little bit differently. And yeah.
So is it worth it, or just say, okay, I lost my job, I'm out of here?
Well, I live in the real world, and at times we do have to pick our battles.
Right.
But I believe that the ones we pick, we should be convicted.
Right.
To do so, and that's the fight. If you do feel that you were wrongfully terminated, unlawfully,
okay.
terminated. We have some people say, well, it wasn't fair. Fair is relative.
Right.
But if you believe that you were wrongfully or unlawfully terminated from your job, then yes, I strongly encourage you to fight. I do.
Right.
All right. We're going to pause right now and have Fashion by Kimberly, and then we're going to come back. All right, Otis.
Relax.
I know. This is so interesting.
I know it's deep. We got deep.
Who's talking to me? I am, I guess, because Big Husky is not here, huh? There's your mic right there. You need your mic? In case you want to say something while I'm talking. All right, we always love Fashion by Kira. I love the sleeveless, what is that, jacket? That is so ruffled.
Yeah, that is pretty.
That is beautiful. So you can wear that with something else, right?
Yeah, dress.
All right, and the pants and everything are so beautiful, and I love those boots. Those shoes are boots. What you call those, Kim? Huh? They boots. They are
booties.
They booties. What you gotta look at? They are so pretty.
Are
they boots on the ground? And I like the little thing in the front where the little cuts in the front.
Yeah.
But that is so pretty.
Yeah.
But that jacket is so pretty. Isn't that cute? And I love that hat that matches it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so. I love that. And the glasses. She dressed so elegant, doesn't she?
Where's your purse?
I love. Where's your purse, Kimber? You know she have all this money in her purse. Look at it. Look at it. And then that Dallas Cowboy thing on the. All right now. All right, go Cowboy. Yes. We both are. I love it. That purse is so beautiful. It's an eye catcher. It just grabs the attention. Girl, you working that thing. I love that.
With the boots.
Isn't that cute?
That is so pretty. You can dress that up with so many different.
Things.
Yeah.
I didn't even steam it. I said I'm gonna leave it wrinkled. How
Yeah,
about that?
that's so beautiful. I love that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. That we love Fashion by Kimberly. I get a lot of good things when I hear Fashion by Kimberly. What Kimberly gonna have on next week? I don't know. All I know is she got all these beautiful outfits that come out of her closet. So,
Right.
but thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Okay, back to Miss Veronica. You have really inspired us tonight. So let's get back to some more questions. Okay. Many employees assume HR is there to protect them. Is that true?
No, it is not.
Really?
It is not. It is not true. No, they're not there to protect.
Okay.
To protect them.
Why? Why they hired then?
Well, HR works for the company.
Right.
Let's be clear on that.
Right.
HR does work for the company.
For the company.
Not the individual employee. Although employees are internal customers and HR is a servicing unit, they do, work to support the needs of their employees. And there are HR professionals who want to create a sense of fairness. However, at the end of the day, they are there to protect the company.
Oh,
And I may get some hits on this, but that is reality. But you do have some HR professionals that do want to create that balance, and they definitely are there to do the right thing.
Okay.
And sometimes they're met with opposition, and it can make your job very difficult. I know because I've been
There.
in that position before, where standing up sometimes make you pause and think if you should be standing down. But that was not what I subscribed to when I was in HR. And so that's why it's important that employees should know their rights, okay? And when needed, seek outside support, because there's a possibility that HR will basically say, my hands are tied, or, I've done everything that I can, that type of thing.
Will they tell you that?
Some
of them will tell you that this is all I can do.
Well, they'll say, I've done everything
Okay.
that I can. You may need to speak to so-and-so or so-and-so.
So when you say outside support, what are you referring to?
The EEOC, your state civil rights division.
I did not know we
Texas
had a state civil
with
rights.
Texas Workforce Commission, there is a civil rights division, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Really?
Because sometimes you'll be told that before your case can go to trial, you're going to exhaust, all areas, and one of them would be the state. If your state has a Employment Protection Act, then you would file with them. And then, EEOC will probably, they're dually filed. But if you have a state that has an Employment Protection Division, in this case, the Civil Rights Division, they may hear your case before it is heard by EEOC, because it may get resolved at the state level.
Oh, okay.
It may not have to go to the federal level. So, and that has a lot to do with the relationships that EEOC has with your state, too.
Oh, okay.
Can they bypass HR and go straight to EEOC, or should they go to HR first?
They can.
They can bypass HR if they feel like they're not going to give them.
Short answer, yes. Yes, they will. And depending on the circumstances of your case, EEOC, the officer may say, this might be something you can resolve by, sitting down and negotiating with with your employer. And that's if EEOC determines that there is some legitimacy here, but it could be resolved through mediation.
Oh, okay.
But short answer is yes. I mean, people do go straight to EEOC, and most of the time EEOC is going to push for mediation, because they do want to try and resolve it, at the lowest level possible and at the most reasonable, resolute way they can, and usually it's trying to go through the mediation process.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you share a memorable case or client story that shaped your mission?
Um, boy, yeah, I have several of those. I do recall a case where a gentleman was terminated from his position. I worked directly to him. Matter of fact, his testimonial was on my website, and um, and he it was a performance issue, and he in this particular client was relentless and really pursued justice, on his behalf, and it was a performance issue. They said it was due to performance.
Okay.
And his inability to be able to interact with his teammates, etc. So that began to build and mount, and but there was no clear documentation, and that's why documentation is key.
You're right.
So there was no clear documentation to substantiate the reason for terminating, and so consequently he did file. And he went through HR, and then of course he went through EEOC, and what ended up happening with that case. Well, let me that happened in the end, but in the very beginning, this case resulted in someone being terminated from their job, but they didn't follow their progressive disciplinary policy. The employer did not follow their own policy,
Oh wow.
and so that technicality got him his job back.
Wow.
But there were months in between that you're not working and you're having
No
to go
money.
through this process.
They don't pay them back pay for that?
Yes, once they're reinstated.
Once they reinstate,
Yeah.
they'll get the back
Yeah.
pay.
Yes,
Okay.
once they're reinstated.
Uh-huh.
And there's been a couple of instances where someone that I've known that have been fired. And again, clients. And again, I also take on the role of an employee rights advocate. And so if I get a call and we're talking, and I'll say, well, here's where the gap is. So here's what we need to do. And the same with her. This client boxed up, and they had been pursuing her for several months, just tracking, documenting, and she was doing the same because there was an understanding that eventually this was going to happen, and it did. But again, didn't follow their policy properly, and so they ended up taking her back, and she was reinstated and back pay and such. And so, so yes, and there are a number of situations.
So, on a personal note, have you ever experienced workplace discrimination?
Yes.
You have.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes, I have. I've definitely experienced it, and have had to take a stand and fight. And I was okay with that.
You knew what goes into it.
So yes, I've been
that's
on.
easier for
I've
you
been
to
on
do
that
it.
side, and at varying degrees though in the workplace.
Yes.
Not necessarily losing my job, but just dealing with the microaggressions and being too aggressive and being too vocal, or all that comes with you being unapologetic, for existing. And so yes, I've been on the other side, and I've had to fight, and like I said, I have been victorious. Yes.
Wow. So if somebody was actually going through a situation, could they call you up and talk to you to get some kind of,
Guidance?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So how would they get in touch with you?
I do have a website, and it's been a dance for me. And so I can be reached at vpallenassociates.com. That's Victor Paul Allen, ALLE, and associates.com. And additional contact information is also on my site, and it clearly outlines the services that I provide as well. I work with both sides of the aisle, so to speak. I work with employees and I also work with employers because, like I said, there are many employers out there that are intentional and they do want to do the right thing. Just a lot of times they need that training, they need the leadership development, and they just need some guidance as well. And then you have employees who need to feel empowered. They need to know that they have a voice. They need to know that sometimes you do have to fight. We're not going to fight all our battles, but the ones we pick, like when our livelihood is threatened or unlawfully treated, then yes, there are laws in place that protect you. And those rights are for you to preserve and to respect and follow through with them. So yes, I can be of assistance.
Do you have a phone number they can reach you at?
It's on my site.
Okay, so they can go to your site and get that information. Okay.
And there's a caveat. I just discovered I've been working on my website and I got it up and going today and I failed to push publish. So if you will give me till in the morning, it will be up. If you run to it right now, you won't get me. And I do apologize, but I'm just not savvy in that area. But I'm getting better. I'm getting better. So I just want everyone to take care of themselves, feel empowered. You have a voice.
That's right.
Educate yourself. Read the policies and procedures at your organization. Make that book your Bible, so to speak. Interpret it, understand it, and be your best self.
Right. All right. Thank you, Miss Allen, for that information, which was some very good information. So you all please go to her website, which is vpallenassociates.com. And if you have any questions, she'll be more than happy to get with you. And she is coming back to do a part 2 on some more information on civil rights and all of that good stuff. All right. So do you have anything else you would like to share before we close out?
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I do appreciate it. It's good to finally put faces with voices.
Yes.
And it's been a pleasure, a real blessing. Thank you so much.
And you look just like an attorney, doesn't
Yes,
she?
she does.
She looks like one of those.
Well, I'm not an attorney. I did my undergrad at UTA. I did my graduate work at Amberton University. I did go through the training with EEOC as an investigator.
And that's good.
So I am a trained investigator, and also
That's good.
I'm nationally certified as a mediator because I do believe in bringing people
That's
to the
awesome.
table and finding common ground, opposed to being faced with a bunch of frustration and stuff between
And that's awesome.
individuals, be it employer and employee.
So you
And
work on both. You can also help employers as well.
absolutely.
That's good. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely not
Yes.
anti
That's good.
employers because there are some very, very strong
Yes.
and well-meaning employers,
Mhm.
and they're doing some good things too. You know,
Okay.
everyone's not buying into the culture shift.
Okay.
And
Okay.
So
Good.
yeah.
Okay, so if you need advice, whether you're a company or just a person in general, please contact Veronica P. Allen at vpallenassociates.com. Her information is on there. You can contact her. What's your hours?
9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
She's a 9 to 5 woman. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Allen, for sharing this
You're
good
quite welcome.
information.
Thank you for having
I
me.
really enjoyed that. And I'm lazy too. I didn't read all my stuff, but
That's okay.
you know what I read? The stuff that I knew I could.
That's all right. That's okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's okay.
But anyway, thank you so much for sharing this information. And remember, if you're having an upcoming event and you want to take some beautiful pictures, and if you haven't heard of the Kirk booth, I would love to introduce you to the one and only photo booth that you would need. We are available. You can contact us at www.thekirkbooth.com. We make props. We make all these beautiful plaques, T-shirts, and all. We do it all. We do it all. We do it all. I tell you. We make beautiful T-shirts. This one says Jesus is the answer.
Yes.
We can design. We even make company T-shirts. So if you are a company and you need T-shirts for you, hey, we can do that for you. All right. So check us out again. We do all kind of events like wedding. I love weddings. Linda loves weddings.
I do.
We love birthday parties. We do it, but weddings are our
I
favorite.
don't like the
But we do
Kissiana.
all of them. School events, we do headshots for companies as well. We can do your own private setting with the Kirk Booth. So check us out again at www.thekirkbooth.com. We also sell them, rent them, whatever the case is. And if you haven't subscribed to the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma, please do. Go and click that little button and subscribe, and you will not miss any of our shows. And if you do, you can always go back, Facebook and YouTube, and watch them. All right, we're on every Monday and Thursday, 8 p.m., Facebook and YouTube. We are here if you would like to be on our show, www.elmatalkshow.com. And I'm pretty sure Kimberly or Linda or myself will be out there just grabbing you to have you to come in and sit with us. May God bless you and keep you until we see you what? Face to face. Good night.
Good night,
Love you guys.
everyone.
Thank you for watching. Thank you, Miss Allen.